getting back to the healthcare thing, which I think should come up, I think Joe Biden should talk about Donald Trump has nominated someone who is going to further his goal of destroying the Affordable Care Act, taking away pre-existing conditions from our health care, because that's the thing that everybody likes to talk about. And he's doing it by suing in a federal court. He's doing it by placing someone on the Supreme Court to deal with that, and that is Amy Coney Barrett. Here is Senator Mike Lee basically giving up the I guess the goods on ACB, as it were.
What does the appointment confirmation of Judge Barrett as Justice Barrett, if it indeed happens, mean for Roe v. Wade?
Only time can tell what will happen to any one precedent, although I would point out here, George, that anytime someone is looking at overruling a precedent, it's a lot more complicated than people might think. And in any event, you can't look at the confirmation of a Supreme Court justice and boil down that jurist's contribution to the law, past and future, to what they might do with a single case. This judge has an incredible background. This is a judge who will bring her expertise to the table, and it will be brought to bear in a whole wide variety of scenarios, just as Ruth Bader Ginsburg's expertise was brought to bear in her cases.
Including healthcare. You heard Senator Durbin right there. He says he and all Democrats are united now, concerned that if Judge Barrett is confirmed, the Affordable Care Act and its protections for people with pre-existing conditions will go down as well. Are they valid concern?
Look, the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act was, I believe, unconstitutional when it was enacted. It was unconstitutional when it was litigated in 2012. It was unconstitutional when Chief Justice Roberts, writing for a narrow 5-member majority, rewrote the Affordable Care Act in 2 critical ways in order to render an otherwise inevitably unconstitutional law constitutional. And so the fact that Congress chose to enact an unconstitutional law shouldn't tarnish Judge Barrett in this. Her job is to figure out whether it's unconstitutional or not. I don't believe it is. John Roberts rewrote it twice in order to make it appear constitutional, which it is not.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Some what mental gymnastics there.
Yeah, no kidding, right? First off, it shows that they're terrified at the idea that that she does represent the end to Roe v. Wade, or at the very least, enough of an assault on it that we're going to have 25 states in this country where abortion will be outlawed. And then he has this incredibly tortured response where he says Congress enacted an unconstitutional law, and then blows right through the fact and the body that we that our Constitution requires to assess whether it's unconstitutional also found that it was constitutional, but they did it in a wrong fashion.
But John Roberts wrote his opinion said this, so therefore, oh my God.
But however, I hope that she is going to invalidate the law. I mean, I think that is.
But you can't judge her on her past or future rulings. I'm just going to confirm her because I'm pretty sure and hopeful that she will overrule this unconstitutional law we passed.
It's sort of fascinating that he's taking that tact with the ACA after the entire history of this thing. The Republicans have not been able to kill it and desperately tried to multiple times.
Do you notice how they've pulled away from the small business, just the attack on small business? How it's stretching small businesses. Remember that was the message the first time around. I think the first attack they made on it, but they're completely abandoning that and they're going all in because the alternative is okay, great, pass something else, but right. Instead it's unconstitutional.
Well, that's the thing I think that at one point I hope Joe Biden brings up tonight is that everything you're talking about, you're acting as if you were not the president for the past 4 years. Now people could make that mistake because of the way you've handled the coronavirus. It really does feel like you're not the president. But the fact is, you signed the tax law. You signed. You were upset about your Republican Party not being able to gut the ACA and get rid of pre-existing conditions. You're in the driver's seat, buddy, and you're sitting around going who drove the car into the ditch? Look in the mirror. I mean, I think that has to be sort of what Joe Biden does. I look, and I will remind everybody. I would have preferred a candidate who gets up there and not only says stuff like that, but then says, and here's how we drive the car straight. Joe Biden's not that guy. He doesn't. And I would also argue that when he's talking about driving the car, that it feels like he's staying in the ditch a little bit to me, but that's their strategy. That's what they're sticking to it. And if you're going to pursue that strategy, there are ways of doing it. And you know, you should get judged on both accounts, really. But at this point, like, how well are they fulfilling their own strategy of being just not Donald Trump? And there are ways of doing that, I think.
I mean, he could easily say, like you said, so imagine you've had COVID, you've had COVID-related illnesses. I'll even give him that line. If you had access to healthcare, if you had pre-existing conditions, imagine if you were banned from receiving healthcare during this time. How many more deaths would there have been? I mean, there's a lot there's a lot to work with. I think the danger is Joe Biden might go into an area where, like, if he goes into labor, which he should really be pushing towards, they've been hitting him hard on these big trade deals.
Yep.
Yeah.
Big time.